What exactly is Sarvam AI?
वैष्णव ने कहा कि भारत की एआई रणनीति सही दिशा में आगे बढ़ रही है.
How it has helped India in a major breakthrough and how it has placed India on the map of sovereign AI in the globe. Artificial intelligence is no longer just about chatbots and productivity tools. It has also become so much more about nations' capability, what they can do with it, and how sovereign it is. And Sarvam AI sits at the right point for this strategic shift which is incoming for India. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to discuss about Sarvam AI, how it has placed itself superior than the ChatGPT, Google Gemini that we have been using for so long, why Sarvam AI is the one credible sovereign AI initiative for India, and what are the changes that it is going to bring for us. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly has unfolded and where it has unfolded. Now Sarvam AI is nothing but Bangalore-based AI startup building foundational models specifically for India. And recently it has claimed that it has better OCR performance. OCR is optical character recognition, better OCR performance as compared to global models such as ChatGPT, Google Gemini and others, which includes Claude and many other national models in front of us. Now this particular startup has built in two important things in this AI model. The first one is the vision, which includes OCR, that is optical character recognition, and vision AI as well, just like we use ChatGPT AI. It has another important feature that is Bulbul V3. Now this is the place where text to speech enablement is there and with an excellent focus on Indian language, 22 scheduled Indian languages, and that is why it is being termed India's first credible sovereign AI which is focusing on India's languages, and this is a sovereign AI initiative. That means India is not going to be only part of AI users, it is also going to enter the league of core AI builders. Now to understand this in detail, let us start from scratch and get into understanding what exactly are the things that are included in Sarvam AI. So when we are talking about Sarvam AI, there are two components to it, Sarvam Vision and then we have Bulbul V3. Now when we are talking about Sarvam Vision, it is basically, as I said, it includes optical character recognition. So for example, if you are uploading a image or a document, a scan, then we are going to see that there is a proper character recognition. It can work on poor quality scans also, legacy documents also, and it can easily read multiple scripts and mixed languages as well. Furthermore, when we are talking about the second component, we find that it has Bulbul V3, which is text to speech component. If you have text, then it can modify it into speech, and this is available for 22 Indian languages. There is option of multiple voices, there is option of multiple accents, dialects, and it also supports historical texts from 1800s. So can you imagine that this AI model which has been built based on Indian languages, if I am talking about the advantages, can't you see that how instrumental it can be in delivery of knowledge, in delivery of education and so much more. And it can also facilitate India's digitization drive where there will be ease of document digitization, and that can also be helped without focusing on a single language, and language access gap will also be addressed. So in this context, as I said, that this is not just about a technological breakthrough, it is also about a sovereign AI breakthrough. So for that we need to understand what exactly is sovereign AI. When I say a sovereign AI model, what exactly it means. So when we are talking about sovereign AI, they are also AI models only, artificial intelligence model. But what do they mean when we add the term sovereign? That means this AI model is trained on domestic data. So if example US is making a AI model which is trained on their domestic data, then that is their sovereign AI model. Because Sarvam is being based on India's domestic data, it is India's sovereign AI model, and this is an AI model which is not only processed through domestic data, but it is also hosted on country's own infrastructure. Furthermore, an added layer for sovereign AI that particular AI model will be governed and based on the national laws and priorities. So, in this context, Sarvam AI is ticking all the boxes for India's context, and that is why it is being labeled as India's first credible sovereign AI initiative. This initiative includes data sovereignty, it includes compute sovereignty, and also model and algorithmic control. So, this is not something that we are trying to create in an isolated vacuum. This is something that we are trying to create to have strategic autonomy in terms of artificial intelligence as well, so that we are not dependent for this technology on others, and that dependence is going to affect us in terms of R&D, in terms of economy, and lot more. Now, when we have a fair understanding what exactly is sovereign AI, this is where we understand better that why Sarvam AI is a technological breakthrough for India, why it is being hailed as one of the important innovations of this particular time. This is happening because it is not just about the fact that it is being hosted on domestic infrastructure, it is being developed on domestic data. It is also because it has come out superior as of now to models such as ChatGPT, Claude, then we have Google Gemini. Because when we are talking about OCR bench, OLM OCR bench, that is optical character recognition, the performance of Sarvam Vision has been 84.30%, where if you look at for Gemini or ChatGPT or DeepSeek, it is way less. Apart from character recognition, we also have doc recognition, in which it has performed even better, that is 93.28%. So it has not only outperformed global models, but it is outperforming on basis of Indian languages. So it has a niche to it and exemplary example as well. And another important feature which makes it a technological breakthrough is that it has been built on 3 billion parameter vision language model, one of the biggest, and it is very closely related and optimized on Indian data realities, not based on Western data sets. So we clearly get to see that Sarvam has not only focused on local optimization, but it has also beaten the generic scale that was set up by global models. And this is very important to remember, that global artificial intelligence is not equivalent to local artificial intelligence, sovereign artificial intelligence. There needs to be an important demarcation there. Then you will ask me, ma'am, why there needs to be a demarcation? Because when we are talking about sovereign AI, it is very important that we remember that it is a strategic asset. Just like nuclear capabilities, just like semiconductors, just like space capability, because for this we don't want to depend on others. If we will depend on others, we would have to pay more, we would have to be dependent, and we cannot mark this as our achievement. Then that particular dependence will also be misused for trade deals, it will be misused for diplomatic gains and whatnot. So India wants to be Atmanirbhar in the context of artificial intelligence as well, which is the upcoming strategic, which has been the upcoming strategic assets of our times. So in this context, when we are talking about sovereign AI, the reason we are focusing on this so much is the fact that soon there will be data colonization. The way there were colonies created for input raw material, similarly for data there will be colonies created. And if we talk about 2 major colonies already highly functional, US and China. Furthermore, foreign AI APIs, we will be dependent on them, and when we are talking about sharing of data, we also have national security risks associated with that. And Another important factor for which India is known, that is the cultural and linguistic diversity we have. In this context, we have to marginalize that. If we are using global models, we have to keep that on side and go for a singular language format, or if any languages are considered, they are not handled very well. For example, if you are from Odisha, you want to talk, you want some output from ChatGPT in Odia, you can go ask someone who actually knows that language. It is not put out very well. So in this context, cultural and linguistic marginalization was also taking place. That is why the countries are focusing on their own AI models, be it US, which has open AI ecosystem, be it EU, which is which is already heavy on AI sovereignty push. China has also domestic AI stack which is present, and now India is out with Sarvam AI type initiative, which includes two, Sarvam Vision and also Bulbul V3. Now another key factor that makes Sarvam AI special is the Indian languages. As of now, when we are talking about Sarvam AI, we have to understand as of now, Sarvam AI has 35 voices and 11 languages, but it plans to expand to 22 scheduled Indian languages which are present. Now, that is why we find that Indian languages are very central to India's AI strategy. That gives us an insight into this. But why this is so? This is because if you talk about 90% of Indians, they are non-English speakers. And if we want to bring this capability, bring this service to our nation, then we have to facilitate in the way where the public at large can understand. So if it is only in English, then it cannot be used everywhere. That is why focus on Indian languages. Furthermore, if we want government, courts, land records to exist, which already exist in regional languages, and we want to digitize them, then we have to feed that data to AI. And when we are talking about global AI models, they are not doing this. They are focusing on undermining Indic spirit. They absolutely ignore the dialect diversity that exists in our country. And this is where the problem with global AI models is being corrected by Sarvam AI, because it treats Indian languages as primary data. That is why the accuracy performance is higher in Sarvam AI. When we are talking about linguistic diversity, Sarvam AI converts that into a strategic advantage and a better performance metric. And if we bring this in our governance model, it would be an example, a case study for inclusive digital governance. And that is why it is important for us to understand that Sarvam AI is not just about technological breakthrough, not about just innovation, but also certain impacts, consequences that it will bring. For example, it will change how governance performs. There will be faster digitization, be it of code records, land and revenue document, and the welfare databases that exist. If we are looking for citizen-centric services, there can be voice-based as well. And there can be a segment where public service delivery will be automated and artificial intelligence based. And this will directly help our economy as well, because this will lead to a development of a separate sector and which focuses on domestic AI ecosystem, which brings us jobs, which brings us innovation and enhances the productivity in our country. It will reduce our dependence on foreign AI services. It will lead to creation of jobs which will be high skilled tech. So we will not just be provider of skilled labor force, but also the user, and it will definitely facilitate the government tech and also legal tech in this context. So in addition, a start of this such initiative opens the gate for brighter opportunities for India's AI ecosystem, and that is why Sarvam AI is being lauded for this strategic shift where it is beginning from. Another important dimension that we need to talk about here is, when I started this conversation, I mentioned that Sarvam AI is going to change India's global position. How is that? Because till date, India was not AI creator. It was a AI model user and consumer. But with Sarvam AI coming into picture, it becomes an AI creator. That means this is another segment where India can position itself in multilingual AI and ace it, top it as well. That means this will have further potential to bring this model, this inclusive model, to Global South, where we want to be championed as the leader of this region. And furthermore, this will be a great product for democracies which are multilingual. And India will be provider, India can be the provider in this very context. But here I want to ask a question. We have so many prospects in front of us coming from Sarvam AI. Can you tell me the challenges of building up such an AI ecosystem in India and how that they can be mediated? You can use these pointers in your answers as well. So let me know in the comment section. Now, when this particular positioning shift changes for India, we will see this gives us an upper hand in strategic autonomy as well, digital soft power as well, and also facilitates tech diplomacy. So this is a strategic shift time for India when we are talking about artificial intelligence ecosystem, and it has begun with Sarvam AI.